Hey you guys, what's going on? It's your big dreamer and doer G Dinero coming to you with another TA Tuesday. This time we're going to be talking about Bitcoin cracking new all-time highs. MicroStrategy pulled back a bit and Tesla has leveled out here right around the 340, 350 level. But before we dig in, remember, none of this is tax, financial, legal, investment advice. It's your buddy G Dinero helping you increase your financial literacy to help put you and your family on that path to financial freedom. So let's dig in. All right, as always, we start here with the Bitcoin TABI chart. The TABI chart is orange. Not a whole lot to see there. Things have heated up recently with Bitcoin, but nowhere near the deep orange or red levels that we've seen in the past that marked the all-time highs, previous all-time highs. So the network is starting to heat up. We're a little bit over neutral right now. Neutral is yellow, but nothing out of the ordinary. We did crack a new all-time high of $112,000 this past week, and that's where we sit right now. Bitcoin on the daily chart. On the daily chart, you'll notice is mean reverted slightly to the upside. We've just come off of RSI levels over 70, so we're starting to get up into that range where there may be some profit taking place and a little bit of sell pressure, right? As people are, we've kind of gone off into this price discovery mode, and people are like, wow, we broke 110,000. Wasn't sure if that was going to happen. Let me take a little bit of profits off the table. MACD is up. You'll also note here that the global liquidity just continues rising. Every time we think it's hit a new all-time high, it keeps going higher and higher, and Bitcoin tends to be following that global liquidity with anywhere from an 8 to 10 week lag, right? So that we've been talking about. If we look up here at the actual chart itself, we've been in a very, very tight linear regression channel since April the 7th. And if we zoom out, we can see that we broke through this previous level of resistance that was down here in this 94 to call it $100,000 range. We turned that into support rapidly and broke through the next area of resistance, this current support zone. And that support extends all the way up to $106,000. So right now, 106 is the immediate support. Next level of support is down there at around $100,000. Again, the all-time high right up here at $112,000. If we go on to the Bitcoin 4-hour chart, we've actually come off of being mean reverted, and we went back down almost to neutral here on Sunday. And now as we stand, when this is being recorded, which is actually on Monday, I'm going to be traveling tomorrow. I'll be at the Bitcoin conference. So went ahead and recorded this one day in advance. But as of Monday, we're a little bit above neutral, a little bit mean reverted to the upside. You'll notice a nice crossover right here on the MACD. So looks like this 106,500 level is actually acting as support. You can see I put some little white lines in here using VRVP to help me determine where the immediate or short-term support and resistance levels are, and very strong support down here at 104,000. You'll notice that just across the board. So I would say that is the current floor, not saying we can't go any lower, but that you'll see a lot of buyers jump in at $104,000. And right now, the ultimate resistance is still the all-time high of $112,000. If we go over to the Solana Bitcoin chart, that was the one that's been a little bit of a letdown. You know, we did have it max out this year at around 0.0031. That's 0.0031 Bitcoin for every one Solana that you would sell or buy. It would cost you that. Right now, we've been just hovering around in this zone. We did throw down what looks to be an inverse head and shoulders. The target on that is up to 0.00205, and we're nowhere near that right now. We're just kind of lollygagging along at this 0.0016 level. We've been at that level for a few weeks now, just above it, just below it, but for all intents and purposes, tracking very tightly in this short-term linear regression channel right here and unable to make it back into the upper part of the long term. The 200-day moving average on this pair is at 0.0019, so we're still, 3 one-hundredths below, 3 previous all-time, the 200-day moving average. Mean reversion, flat. I mean, this thing's just flatlining right now. Like I said, it's just trading sideways. Bitcoin is remaining extremely dominant right now. Solana dominance has fallen a bit from where it was and is just now flatlining as well. Solana, on the Solana chart, we can see back here was the previous all-time high. That was back in January, and it was around 295. Right now, we're sitting at 177. So we're 120 points below the previous all-time high, while Bitcoin is making new all-time highs. So that just shows you that since January, Bitcoin has outperformed Solana. Solana has pulled back, whereas Bitcoin has actually broken into new all-time high territory. You'll note that on RSI, we are slightly over we're at about 60, so we're a bit over the mean there. On mean reversion, we are mean reverted to the upside, about a half a standard deviation, so nothing to shake a stick at. We're finding significant resistance here at the 200-day moving average. That's also a block of resistance right here, with the peak being right around 172. So currently, that's a solid bit of resistance that we're having to work our way through. Support is down here starting at about 154, 153, and going all the way down to like 120. So from 120 to 150, strong area of support. Anytime Solana's dropped down into that area, it's been immediately bought back up again. But going to the upside, we will have resistance all the way up to 185 right now. Once we break through that, a little bit at 200, and then the next big clump is up there right around 215 to 220 on Solana. Same thing if we look at the 4-hour chart. On the 4-hour chart, we're pretty much at the mean. We're pretty much at the midpoint here on RSI. We're battling with that 200-day moving average. We made one big run at it back here on May 13th. Another one here on May 23rd. Both times got rejected and right now sit just below the 200-day moving average and just below this line, these couple of lines of resistance that you see here. This white line around 178, the other one around 171. So basically from 170 to 180 right now, trading sideways in that range. Like we said, support to the downside is 150. To the upside, we've got to break through 185. Quick on SUI, people have asked me to do that. SUI basically spiked to around $4.29, almost $4.30. That was back here on May the 12th. It has since pulled back and retested the 200-day moving average and bounced just a little bit off the 200-day moving average, but moving nicely. It's at the the lower part of this linear regression channel. Huge mean reversion dot to the downside and bouncing on the 61.8% fib level. So if you don't have any SUI and you were looking to add, now looks to be, per the chart, not financial advice, per the chart, looks to be a better time to add than it was back here when it was at the top of the linear regression channel with all kinds of sell signals. So you're getting in about almost $1 less per SUI. Tesla on the daily chart. On the daily, you can see here we were in a significant downtrend all the way since the all-time high back on December 18th. We are battling with the edge of that linear regression channel. Not this short-term one that's going up and to the right, this long-term one that's going down and to the right. You notice that we're battling right along the edge of that linear regression channel. We're also battling with the 61.8% fib level. That's typically one of the hardest ones to either break through, or that's the last one to fall. Whenever you're above it, it acts as significant support. So right now, it's a battle right here at 340, and you'll notice that we are mean reverted to the upside. RSI was a little bit to the upside here, just above 70. And you'll notice that MACD is looking like it's going to cross over to the downside. Typically, that marks a time when there may be a sell-off afterwards. If we look at it on the 4-hour chart, you'll notice here's that short-term linear regression channel that we are working our way up and down in. Here, we were just at the upper part of the linear regression channel. We did get a sell signal with the trend flip, and then it kind of went sideways. So is that a short-term sell signal or not on Tesla? Time will tell. We'll see where we open this week. There's a lot of favorable news coming out in June. So I wouldn't fade Tesla, but if you were looking to take a little bit of profit, this would be a time to do it because you do have sell signals. You have the red mean reversion dot sell signal, trend flipped orange. RSI was all the way up here at almost 80, 83, 84, 85. So that's a huge move to the upside. MACD did cross over right here. And again, we've got a sell signal running into the 50% fib zone, which is around 351. So that's our resistance to the upside. That extends all the way to 363 because that was a line of support and resistance in late 2024 and early 2025. So right now, resistance from 340 to 360, let's call it 365. Support, first level of support's down here at this 38% fib level and the 100-day moving average, which are right around 320. And then the next level of support would be right down here at 300, which is where the 200-day moving average is. You've heard me talk about this gap right here from 295 to 310 or 311 that I still think may fill. We'll see. It just depends. Does the news come out on Tesla? Favorable news, favorable results. Does that outweigh the technicals, which suggest that we would go back down and retest the 200-day moving average one more time before taking off? Time will tell. If we head over to MicroStrategy on the daily chart, MicroStrategy on the daily chart took a digger on Friday, right? We were on a heater. We were climbing all the way since Monday, March the 10th. We've been in this climbing, except for this one little dip that we had here on April 8th and 9th. We had that little dip. Otherwise, right now we're about to retest the bottom of this channel. If you have long-term vision with MicroStrategy right now, that could represent a buy signal for you, right? That could represent a buy signal because it is starting to tag the bottom of this linear regression channel. It's coming down to a zone of support, which is down here at that 345, 350 zone. We're coming off of being mean reverted to the upside, and the NAV premium tanked. It was over 2, and now it's down below 1.7. So that's a significant change. Sell signals right here on MicroStrategy. So it all depends. Do you think the run is done with MicroStrategy? If you do, you would take a little bit of profit here. Wait to see if you can get a better entry into it. If not, if you think the run is still going and you look at this as a gift, you could look at it and say, gosh, this thing's on sale right now. We hit this resistance zone up here, which was the 61.8% fib level, right around $4.25 a share. This is now on the 4-hour chart. And pulled back down into this zone, filled the gap. Remember, we were talking about this gap a week or two ago, and we were saying that MicroStrategy may fill this gap, this yellow box that you see me highlighting right here. Well, we filled it, came back above it, and then dropped right straight through it. So that gap is completely filled. Right now, we're at the just below this resistance zone, just below the 50% fib level. Next stop is around 350, right down here at the 38.2% fib. You've got the 50-day moving average coming up and the 100-day moving average coming up. So all the technicals are suggesting that 350 would be the floor right now for MicroStrategy on a short-term basis, right? I'm not saying the floor forever, but right now in this pattern, anything down here in this 350 to 360 zone would be a steal per what we see on the chart. We are mean reverted to the downside, and RSI dropped below 30 for the first time in a while. We'd have to go all the way back here to April 8th. It was down near this level, March 31st. And the only time it's been further than this was on February the 25th. Would that have been a good time to have gone into MicroStrategy? Abso-freaking-lutely. Look at this move that it put on since there. So keep that in mind. We're looking like the next signal we're going to get with MicroStrategy is a buy signal. Let's cruise on over to Nvidia. Nvidia right here, what we see on the 4-hour chart of Nvidia. We've been in a solid uptrend ever since they got this tariff tantrum taken care of for the most part, right? I mean, at least things were delayed, that the tariffs on China were reduced. And that's where that's where Nvidia is it needs the tariffs to not be there in place in order to move right now, right? Plus, with the whole AI revolution that's happening, this is going to be a leader in the AI revolution. And so right now we see it taking a breather. There is significant resistance up here at 135. That's this green zone that we're in right now that was resistance, and now we're turning it into support. We're in this green zone right here. We're near the middle of the linear regression channel. We're near the midline here on mean reversion. We're pretty much at neutral. And the 200-day moving average right now is sitting around 126 on Nvidia. So that would be our significant support to the downside, 126. And then if we broke that 120 down here with the 50% fib level, note there is a little gap in here. I'm not saying we're going to go down and fill it, but you saw what happened with MicroStrategy, what may happen with Tesla. It may happen with Nvidia. Doesn't always happen, but something to be aware of. And last but not least, the MicroStrategy Tesla pair. People are like, is the pair broken? Well, time will tell. There could have been a trend reversal here on May 8th that suggests that now we're in a downward trend. I've put a linear regression channel on there. I'm tracking it right now. We really, if we believe that this uptrend is broken, it would mean doing a lower low than what you saw back here on April the 3rd and April the 8th and 9th. So we dropped below that 1.04 level. That's 1.04 Tesla for every MicroStrategy. That is not a good sign. That means that we have now turned over. Tesla's outperforming MicroStrategy, and it's doing so consistently. This pair would then start making lower lows and continue going down, suggesting moves from Tesla over to MicroStrategy. That's where your common sense and keeping your head out the window comes into play. Do you believe in one more than other over the next 6 to 12 months? I have my own thesis, right? My thesis might be different than Invest Answer's thesis or your thesis or some other thought leader's thesis, right? If you talk to a Tesla bull, they're going to tell you Tesla will outperform Bitcoin over the next 6 to 12 months. If you talk to a Bitcoin maxi, they'll tell you that Bitcoin and thus MicroStrategy will outperform Tesla over the next 6 to 12 months. I believe in a neutral thesis. Keep a bunch of both of them and pair trade a small portion back and forth. Right now, my last pair trade was from Tesla into MicroStrategy. I did that when the signals showed up. It was right around 1.12 the day that I did it. It's now gone as low as 1.08, right? So I could have gotten an even better ratio. I'm not worried about it. I know that things always mean revert, and eventually this will mean revert back to the upside, which means it'll mean revert back up, maybe only up to 1.2. But still, if I get a signal there to go from MicroStrategy back into Tesla, that's at 0.08 more than what I made the first trade at. I hope that makes sense. So you're constantly looking at the ratio. When the ratio is high in a MicroStrategy Tesla pair, you're selling MicroStrategy for Tesla. When the ratio is low, you're selling Tesla to buy more MicroStrategy. So I hope that helps you kind of figure out what's going on with this pair. All right, guys, I hope you found mad value in today's TA Tuesday. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you like this video. Like, comment below. What'd you like best? What did you learn? What would you like to see more of? Make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you see more of my videos, but also videos like mine. If you're looking to increase your financial literacy, book a course with me. Book a course on understanding options. Book a course on TradingView and technical analysis. You'll be glad you did. Book an individual appointment with me. All of that can be done at gdinerocoaching.com. And remember, that'll help you increase your financial literacy to help put you and your family on that path to financial freedom. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.